Cleaning company owners. I am with Abel, and we are here to help cleaning company owners grow, get rich, and decide to put down the mop and actually own a business. I call it the cleaning company CEO. And we're going to dive into some topics today about common mistakes that cleaning company owners make in the beginning, some maybe a little lead gen stuff, and how to start delegating. So, uh, Abel, thanks for being on the show, man.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, if you could share with our audience a little bit about how you got started. I know that you went into the cleaning business, you got out, and now you're helping other cleaning business owners. But share a little bit with me about how you got started because most cleaning business owners start cleaning, but you didn't. And I'm interested
Mhm.
to see like your mindset around that, how it happened quickly, and then kind of transition into what happened next.
Okay, I'll actually start it off very early. So I was really into the whole hustle thing since I was 16 years old. So I was trying a bunch of businesses even at that age. Tried a couple blogs, a couple websites, and then finally, when I turned 18, I was like, man, finally, I'm out of high school. Right. So I could finally start doing the things, more properly. So I tried flipping products, made a couple bucks there. I started doing freelancing, made some bucks there. And then we even helped at the time an affiliate website get to like 40,000 visitors with the content that I was doing at the time. So eventually I came across Rohan, Rohan Glikes, but it was this entrepreneur subreddit, and he was talking about how he started a cleaning business and how he grew that. So I remember sitting reading that, going, why can't I do that? And you can't make this up. The next day I got started. There was something about it where I was like, I know I can do this. So first I started actually a lawn care service. I was like, I don't want to be like him. I'm just do my own thing. So started the lawn care service, right? I wanted to be unique. So
Yeah.
started making money, but I ran into some hiccups. I was like, the profit margin is low. I have to be on the computer all day, picking up phone calls, measuring on this, what was it called, Google Earth, right? And I was like, man, this is terrible. But the business model proved itself. And keep in mind, I'm 18 at that point doing interviews at Barnes& and Noble with the landscapers. But to me, I was like, man, this feels real. So eventually, I was like, oh, let's do the clean business. So I started the clean business. And the model was right when you start the clean business, from how Rohan at least taught it, was that you don't even have to go ahead and do the cleaning yourself. So from the get-go, I put Craigslist ads. Cleaners, were hired, and I immediately started getting customers within 2, 3 weeks. I mean, and then we ended up scaling that to about 400 to 500,000 a year. And then as I grew, I was very involved in the Facebook groups. A lot of other clean business owners saw what I was doing, how we ranked our website, and so on. So even those clean companies started saying, "Hey, can you help us?" So I started doing that on the side. But at the same time, our cleaning business, I had it fully delegated by the second or so year. We had two virtual assistants. They did all the hiring, the scripting, the phone calls, you name it. So by then, all I had to do was 5 minutes of work. I would just log in, do a little
Yeah.
bit of work, and I was done, right? So, I would just charge cards. That was it. And then towards the last final year, I was more focused on the agency world. I think my heart was in that more, and I felt a little burnt out from the first year or two of the clean business before things got automated. So even though everything was automated, I was mentally just burnt out. I was like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this.
Mhm.
And a few other emergencies happened, and I kind of scaled down towards that year. And my friend was like, "Why don't you sell it?" And I was like, yeah, let's do that." So I sold it and then went full time as an agency. We worked with a bunch of clean businesses, scaled so many companies, and that's where we're at now.
Wow, nice, man. Yeah. So many things on that. Now, okay, two things. Number one is okay, the landscaping thing. Yeah, that's a nightmare. Uh, Cleaning company though. You said you started posting at Craig. Now, granted, this is back in like what 2000, like 18, 20, something like that.
This is 2000, yeah, 2016.
Okay, 16. For the cleaning thing, you said you started posting on Craigslist, got some cleaners, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Now, you said you already started getting cleaning jobs. were you
Mhm.
also posting on Craigslist? Was there some unique thing that you were doing to just attract jobs? Because I know a lot of cleaning companies are like, oh yeah, it must be great. You're just getting cleaners, and then what they just the jobs just show up. Any tips for
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that worked back then, I mean, they still work now. The landscape has changed a lot because, again, I'm still working with a bunch of, local service companies and cleaning companies. But our main way was first we tried Thumbtack. At the time, Thumbtack was hot. Right now, it's not my go-to recommendation at all. But in 2016, it was amazing. So Thumbtack was where I started getting calls, and I was like, okay, there's something to it. And then somebody told me about Craigslist, and I was like, let me try that. Posted on Craigslist, talked to a couple people that were doing it. Not a lot of people knew how to even make Craigslist work, so got some tips here, there, and then my friend who was in Phoenix, he started a cleaning business at the same time as me, right? So we would always talk strategies, and he'd be like, "This worked," and together we created a strategy. And Craigslist was off the hook. We were getting calls. I mean, we were getting like 15 calls, 20 calls. Like I would get a phone call, and while I'm trying to answer that phone call, there would be a second phone call, and then there would be a third, and the caller ID would look crazy. It would be three calls at the same time, and I was like, man, Craigslist is crazy. So that's how we start off in the beginning to get customers. But later on, we ran ads and so on. But that was the beginning stages.
Okay. Now you get a cleaning company that comes to you. Now the first like three steps that usually a cleaning company does is they'll list their thing on Google. It usually isn't optimized. They don't know how to do that either. They throw up some cheap like GoDaddy website, and then they just go on to like local groups and just start posting, "Hey, cleaning, half off cleaning, free estimates." And what would you say to somebody that's in that world right now?
Mhm,
And
mhm,
do you
mhm.
think how important is a website to a cleaning company?
I would say this. I think that a lot of people in the cleaning business world, I don't know if they're not honest or if they just omit this, but it took me a while even for me to figure this out. The amount of money you got to spend on ads in the beginning, especially if you're going after residential, is huge. And nobody talks about this. So this is what I would do. Like if I was to start now, and this is the same thing we teach cleaning companies now, and this is how we help them in the beginning, the website super important. Right before we can even start driving traffic to you, we need a good website. A good website. We have your sales process and offers together and pricing. Okay, got that. Cool. So the website is very important. So as soon as we launch that, we then go ahead and say, hey, don't waste your time on these things like posting in Facebook groups and so on. You could do that, and some people try to do SEO from the get go, right? And I actually, as owning, because we do a lot of SEO, I used to, unfortunately, back in the day, I used to recommend SEO even in the beginning. I wouldn't do that now based on what I've seen from working with so many. I would say in the beginning, it's all about getting customers. If you don't have a business, if you're not alive, if you're not around to, or if you don't survive in the next couple of months for SEO to kick in, there's no even point of SEO. So in the beginning, I would say all the money goes to ads. And during this day and age, the only thing that I see working properly is Google Ads. Google Ads and Craigslist. Google Ads and Craigslist is where all my money would go. And I would play with local service ads. Some cities are good, some cities aren't that good. But this is where 90% of my budget and effort would go into making it work. Whether you're doing residential, commercial, you can actually add a cold outreach to that. But these are the places I would put all of my attention. And then now, when you start getting customers from that, because you're now spending probably 3, 4 thousand a month at least. If you're spending any less, I mean, it's gonna take a while to scale, right? So you're gonna need to spend some money, right? Like you need to find a way to spend money. The goal is we need traffic. Traffic. That is it. If you have enough visitors, even a terrible offer would sell. So if we need traffic, we need to buy it, and that's the best way to buy it currently. And once those visitors come and you go ahead and book them, you kind of start to operate like these e-commerce companies do, which is they get a bunch of customers from ads, but they don't really make a profit or they break even. See, the trick is a lot of people go, hey, I'm not making a profit from these ads. The trick is you're not trying to right now. You're trying to build your customer base, right? as time goes, these repeat bookings, especially the second year, that customer base plus new ones, that's where things get amazing, right? So this is especially if you're going after the residential market. Commercial is a little more different because that recurring is stable. But at least that's what I recommend in the very beginning.
Yeah, so I love that too. And with Google, now I know Facebook changed their ad algorithms where it's using AI to help people target people. Um, but with Google, I also tapped into the Google verified. Some places it works well, some it doesn't, but it gives you like a little blue badge, kind of like Facebook and Instagram, where
Mhm.
you have to like get background checked and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, okay, so that's cool. Now, 3 or 4 thousand though, that's a lot for somebody just starting out, right?
Mhm.
So, your clients that come that have like, okay, like I said, the GoDaddy website and stuff, how do you just drop and load them with a website that already works, or do you have a structure to help them? Like, if somebody's listening right now, what would be the biggest components of their website, since you said that that's really important for them?
I mean, the website design process, on its own. I mean, we have a whole process on how we do the mockups and roadmap, but really, the main thing is your hero section, right? Most people don't even scroll past. So your hero section should have that call to action, usually an offer. So your website, the way you want to treat that website is like a salesperson, right? If you're treating it like a salesperson, your homepage is almost like this quick glance, a quick selling point. So in the beginning, it's okay, this is what we do, big title. Here's the offer, a button. Usually there's a header one big header, a second little header, like book a call here, book a cleaning, boom, 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 right? And then there's a button or a lead form, right? That's easy to fill out. And that offer, the easiest one in the cleaning business world is what we've seen with a lot of cleaning companies, which is hiding the pricing behind that lead form. But I'd be all about capturing lead forms. Even if it's a button, our websites, when you click that button, a lead form pops up and it says, get your instant pricing. Or we book in 60 seconds. But to get that pricing, they got to put their name, phone, email. That is so important. Lots of companies will launch their website and won't capture this. And this is crazy. You know how much money you're losing. And then another thing we'll have is a chat bot. And these chat bots, right, will go ahead and talk to the customer. And nowadays, I know there's AI. There used to be an old chatbot we use. We are moving away from that. So I don't have one to recommend just yet, since we're testing a few new ones. But what these chatbots would do is they would be like, what's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? And it would still take that on. So we're capturing leads 24/7. So that would be my first goal of the website is your offer needs to capture lead info, and that I would say that's at least that's the main thing to start off with.
Now, like on the website, for instance, like you'll see, hire us, we're the best cleaners and free estimates and all that stuff. Did you discover, like, for instance, my old company serviced retirement communities. The pain points for that person reading a website is going to be way different than somebody doing Airbnbs or construction cleanups, which I recommend cleaners not doing those, but whatever. Um, do you have any thoughts on that and insight for cleaning company owners?
Sorry, could you rephrase that a little bit differently?
Yeah.
I should
So,
understand.
do you have like a cookie cutter website that you know works for every cleaning company owner, or does it also
Mm,
depend in your matrix? Like, I know you said you have a framework for how you figure these out. Is it
mm.
important for the cleaning company to know the pain points for their specific target audience? Or do you think it's best for cleaning company owners to just service everybody? Let me do post construction, move out, Airbnb, retirement, all that.
Good question. I mean, we work with both type of companies. We work with companies that try to do everything, and we work with companies that try to niche down on, like, let's say their main clientele is Airbnb. Now, if it's just a general house cleaning company, I guess you can say their main service and branding is all about house cleaning, right? And their little sub services might say standard deep move out, and they could offer Airbnb some small office cleanings and so on. So that exists. And if you're janitorial and if you're all about janitorial, your website should be all about janitorial. If you specialize heavily for Airbnb cleanings, then you should really make that known. And or I know a company here in LA, they're mainly a house cleaning company, but I know their bread and butter is Airbnb. So they make sure to have pages dedicated to Airbnb in a way that I've never seen anywhere else. Like they create their own checklist for them, their own pricing for them, their own system. It feels like you're on a different website when you click that page or those pages, and it has its own thing going on there. So if you have a specialty you're going after, for sure, definitely make the messaging apply to that customer base.
Great, man. Okay, I think that's good info for people because sometimes they have all house cleanings, but they don't realize that their website or their Google page, which could be their website, right, isn't speaking that language for that type of client that they're trying to serve. So I just wanted to kind of bring that out there. When you first pull on cleaning company owners, what would you say the biggest like 3 things that you encounter that are like the biggest challenges for them that you need to help them overcome right away?
The first one I would say is budget. So I think they underestimate the budget that it takes to get customers, especially when they're starting in the beginning. And from working with so many cleaning companies, what I've seen, the companies that do really, really well are the companies that are either a husband and wife and they're bringing income in together from a job and they have money for this, or the other kind of client that I've seen they have money saved up to run ads comfortably, right? And the third type is either a hybrid of those or somebody that's willing to do the cleaning. Now, I'm not a fan of doing the cleaning yourself. I've never done a cleaning in my life when I ran a cleaning company. But when you need the money and you need to spend on ads, every cleaning job you get, you probably should do yourself, or you should probably be doing with a helper because you need a way to spend money on ads, right? So if you don't have any money for ads, you're not going to grow. So I would say, hey, look, go in the field, do the cleaning with a helper, use that money for ads plus a VA you can hire very cheaply to answer phone calls. And now you've kind of done this thing where you're in the field and the admin is handled, and then you can pull yourself out once enough money's coming in. So that's the first one, budget. The second one is
before you jump out of there. Oh no, I'll let you keep going. I'll bring it up at the end. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Second one.
The second one outside of budget is I want to say that a lot of companies that I work with are trying so hard to compete on price. Right? That's a big one. The price is the issue. They're all trying to compete on price. They're like, well, I can't charge this. And I'll tell them, no, you don't understand. These profit margins are unsustainable, right? Because they'll tell me, oh, yeah, like I paid this much. I'm like, whoa, you're left with like 10%, 15%, 20% net. It doesn't even make the business worth running, right? And you'll notice everything feeds itself. You need enough money for ads. So in order to spend enough money on ads, guess what? You need enough profits. So your whole profit structure, how much you charge, and even a book I recommend to almost all clients I talk to at some point is Profit First, the book, right? Your profit margins have to be healthy. And there's a way you can increase your pricing based on your offer and so on. But that's the second one, right? You need to be able to afford all of this. And then my third and final one is, because I work with a lot of house cleaning companies, right, is the client avatar that they make or that they try to target. So let me say it like this. The average house cleaning company as an avatar, in my opinion, is not a good client avatar, right? It is a volatile, cheap client on average, right? And they will cancel on you at any point. So I'll tell them, hey, you can still take on your house cleaning customers to fill up your schedule. That's okay. But the recurring should be coming from, like, the base customer should be some sort of B2B company. Offices, Airbnbs, property management. That's what we used to do. And these were stable, right? They always gave us bookings. we were stable. And it's very hard to lose them. Like you have to really mess up, and even then they don't have time, right? So guess what? That also saves you time because they don't require as many emails or phone calls and so on. So imagine even just if you ran mostly B2B, they don't require as many conversations even to begin with. So, and also more profit and stable. So all these three kind of feed each other. Enough profit, enough money for ads, right? Proper client avatar. Now you have again enough money for ads. So these three are, in my opinion, the um, the big ones that somebody could immediately change from the get go.
Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, I just had client. They didn't have a $3,000 budget. They're seasonal, so
Hmm.
I'm teaching them how to get not seasonal, add off season revenue and all that stuff. But I said, I want you to have a VA
Hmm.
list out, and they can afford a VA here in the Philippines, like really cheap. If anybody needs one, comment below. But with that said, I want you to get like 50 real estate agents, 50 property managers, like, and go after people that need cleaning services that you don't need to market to get the house or the property. They do the marketing and vice, you know what I mean? I think that's a great way to, I mean, do all of it if you can.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's great, man. Now, okay, so in the beginning, you have the setup, you have the okay, let's onboard a cleaner. Let's start running some ads. Let's make sure your website's optimized and SEO and all that stuff, and you're listed everywhere. Do you have
Hmm.
suggestions for people running Google ads? Because I've been in a lot of Google ad classes and courses and all that stuff. It can get a little overwhelming or waste a lot of money. Do you have any
Hmm.
suggestions for people running Google ads?
Man, Google Ads is also not what it used to be. But back in the day, because Google Ads got rid of certain things, back in the day, our whole game used to be what's called single keyword ad campaigns and alpha beta style testing campaigns. Those are different now. In my opinion, though, if somebody was just starting and they wanted to make Google Ads work, I would definitely say you have to learn it yourself. I would learn it myself to an extent before even hiring somebody, because that's what I did in the beginning. When I had the clean business, I was like, I don't have time for this. I'll hire somebody reputable to run this. And I was like, man, we're not getting anything happening. And I remember I checked the landing page. I'm like, this is some cookie cutter landing page. This whole thing doesn't make sense. They
Yeah.
add a copy, the headline doesn't even match the landing page headline. Like it was little things. I'm like, I know better than this. So I spent my time at the time learning a ton about Google Ads, did my own, and went from there. But um, it would be hard to do a whole Google Ads masterclass here. But I would say
One tip. One
my
tip.
one one tip my one tip would be honestly, again, it's all about the offer. So your title, right? That title, that headline, right? I would make sure that headline is some sort of amazing offer you can come up with. And offers can only come down to three things. It's either an amazing, valuable offer, it's a discounted offer, or it's some sort of free, right? Some sort of free offer you're going to do. So whatever that offer is what I'd put. I've noticed those are the ads that perform the best for us versus just you know, Chicago house cleaning. Well, like that's the headline. Yeah, at least for us, whenever we make an enticing offer and then they click that, and then the landing page is all about that offer, right? So they're like, because it has to match, right? The ads has to match the landing page. So it has to be all about that lead form all over your face. And testimonials we put up at the top, video testimonials. I'm talking everything, right? Photos, this is amazing. Come on, put it in right now. And this is your offer. So that's at least what has worked for us.
I love it, man. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing on any ad is the hook or the headline, right? And
Hmm.
making it I always use like a negative aggressive hook. Um, is your cleaner going through your underwear drawer and you don't know it? You know what I mean? Like I'll say
I
crazy things like that.
like
Uh,
that.
okay. So we've got the beginning stages, we've got all that, we've kind of overcome the mindset of actually cleaners, you don't even need to clean, you can outsource all of this stuff. With outsourcing, just being mindful of time, do you have any tips for outsourcing? Because you mentioned some challenges that you went through. And I got some clients right now that say, well, I'm just going to hire somebody. They're just going to do it. Yeah, but you have like a process you go through for hiring, and I know SOPs are really important, things like that. Do you have some tips to help people with when they start to delegate, start to outsource?
Yeah. And by outsource, I assume you're mainly focused on the cleaners, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In terms of the right. So in terms of the cleaners, we used to have two hiring process. One is urgent, we need cleaners ASAP, and the other one
The
is
warm body, we call it the
the warm
warm
body.
body
Yeah,
in
the
Germany.
warm body approach, and that was never good. It always ended up with half of them just messing us up. And I've tried a lot of things with the hiring process, and the only one that has worked for us is this is our basic process. We would have a basic application form. We didn't make that one dragged out. It was quick to the point, just the basics. You have this, you have that, you have this experience. Are you willing to get background checked? Name, email, phone number, boom, 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 right? So it can quickly capture the basics, right? Then what we did from there is we would go ahead and send them an email. I didn't even want any of my virtual assistants spending their time on a phone call, right? Like unless they're highly qualified. So we send an email and we'd say, hey, we've seen your application form. It's been screened, right? So we send them a link to one of the most heaviest. It's not a handbook. It's another application form, but it's a series that they have to do. It's huge, right? It's a couple pages. So this application form literally asks them. It's literally like doing an interview, but I just want to save that interview process. And I would rather have my VAs read it. It uploads their photo, a driver license, video of them, right? I noticed that was something we needed to see how they act and how they talk. That was so big. We used with a warm body approach. It was quick phone call. We sent them out, and man, I have crazy stories with that. We would have customers literally almost feel scared when we called them up on a follow up, and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, everything was good." Right. And later on, we find out, oh, the cleaner was crazy. so, so before we even do phone calls or phone interviews, we have to have them upload a video of them talking and answering some questions. We make them read a handbook, a PDF they got to download, quizzes. It was so many things. But anybody that finished that was dedicated, and that's what we needed in the cleaning business world. Is dedicated people. People are not dedicated. If somebody goes through all that and then we get them on a call, 80% of the time they were solid. And we did a Zoom interview too. The phone calls, please, no, Zoom interviews. And if they pass that, then we spent our resources on them, background checking and so on, and reference checking, right? Now we can spend those resources. And we did those reference checks. We didn't mess around. And if they passed all that, then we went ahead and assigned them their first job. And man, overnight, and we had some certain policies too that I can get into later to make sure they didn't cancel, have their part on file. It's just like, so we can charge them a cancellation fee. We had a couple of things lined up for them. But anybody that went through this process, man, these cleaners were A-star, meaning they took that seriously. They were prompt. They messaged us first. I was like, oh my God, this is a new world. So that's the process I would recommend.
Oh, I love it, man. Yeah, I went through the same thing. We came up with something different. It's like 3 interviews, 3 different people, 3 places, put them through like a whole thing, Zoom, background checks. You have to, because you're going to get the crackhead guy cleaning the toilet with his bare hand, like it's so crazy.
Exactly.
Love it, man. So we're about out of time, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of share some things about what you want to say to some cleaning company owners, maybe some things that some of your recent clients have gone through, maybe mindset stuff, or we got like maybe 10 minutes here where you can just kind of share some useful things that you think would help some cleaning company owners.
Okay. I mean, I'll start at the top. I would say we already talked about from the get-go the whole paid ads thing. Don't waste your time doing other, weird other marketing. The ads, buy the traffic straight to the website, capture. But another thing I would like to say is if you're spending those ads, make sure you're doing a good job. I feel like client quality work in itself is a marketing channel the referrals. Because you'll have companies that I've seen we work with, and we'll work with them. And one company's doing amazing, and their ads and SEO is not even all that. The other one is doing the same, but they're not getting that much customers. And the difference is this one is getting customers and they're repeating and they're staying and also getting referrals and so on. Referrals is a real thing. I don't know why I thought during the clean business days, referrals weren't a big deal. I thought it was all about the ads and SEO. No, no, no. Businesses grow on referrals. SEO and ads are just to get the initial people in, is how I see it. The real business is the referrals that come from these customers. So that's how you build a real business. So if you're going to spend all those ads, make sure to do a proper job in the work, because that I would treat that as a marketing channel. So that would be my first tip. Second one is I would hire of course, I hired cleaners from the get-go, right? But another thing you can do that I wish I would have done back then, what I know now, is I would have also hired a virtual assistant. Literally, as soon as I started getting a couple of jobs, I wouldn't have waited until do I have enough jobs. I would have literally gotten it when I got my first 10 jobs. That's enough to let me know the business works. I get a virtual assistant. You don't need a virtual assistant that charges 2,000, 3,000 a month or some sort of virtual assistant agency. In fact, I hired my American VAs at 700 a month, and I have a whole process and system, and they managed everything, right? And it was ethical. We weren't underpaying them, but we had a whole retainer method on how we did that. But even if 700 a month is too much for you, okay, get yourself a Philippine VA or an overseas VA, right? I like the American ones for phone calls and so on. They sold better. Americans like other, Americans, I guess, right? People that understood the culture more. So even if you're not going to have somebody answer the calls like that, somebody with a low skill, if you feel like they're a low skill level, having a VA from the start and you do a daily sync meeting. These daily sync meetings will free you. It's this iteration, right? Every day a task comes up, you get on a sync meeting, it's your training time, answer questions to the VA, and this VA over the month is an asset with every daily sync meeting you do, right? And then when you and it's freeing up so much of your time. So I would say a VA from the get-go. The third one is something I mentioned earlier, the client avatar. You would save yourself so much heartache if you went after the right client avatar. That's basically, if you go after the rich people from the jump, right? You don't even have to work as hard. So go after the B2Bs. Make that your base customers. Still take on the house cleaning if you want to, fill up your schedule. But your B2Bs, your property management, your commercial, your Airbnb will actually scale your business. And you'll have money for everything, for virtual assistants and so on. So I would say those are my main things. I know I mentioned profit first earlier. Implement that into your business as early as possible, remain profitable. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Those are the big ones. And then once you get to a certain healthy revenue, then really invest into organic marketing. That will free up having to pay on ads, and you build this asset where customers come to you, right? You want that setup. Organic marketing, I think of it like a setup. Now that you have a business, right, running, now you go ahead and do your SEO properly, and you do you do some other things like your referral systems. You go ahead and double down on that. Your social media, people don't use that social media. Add people B2B to that social media. Now you have your own hub where people will keep coming from. So that's what I would say. I think that's the main things I would share.
Love it, man. Yeah. This is so much good information. I'm trying to think if there's, before we start wrapping this up, I think, yeah, I mean, you either got organic or ads. So, if you can come up with some money for ads, I think that's the way to go. Learn it yourself. I kind of teach to start small, do the minimum ad spend first so you can kind of see what's catchy and then increase. And then also, yeah, I think cleaning company owners just getting that in their minds of like, you don't have to go clean and you don't have to micromanage everything. Like my big thing is like the more you hold on to, the more you're holding yourself back from growth, and like like my poor mom, man, bless her heart, she cleaned for 20 years until she retired. But I was like, I saw what she was doing. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to hire a team. I had like 30 employees. Like, I'm like taking vacations, and I'm like, my God, mom, you could have retired a long time ago, right? But I think just getting that in people's heads is like, okay, there's a system, there's people out there like yourself. I would love to drop some stuff in the descriptions below if you guys are trying to reach out to Abel. And I know he's got some offers and stuff. What would you say, like the top two or one thing even that you would recommend people to read, or maybe a YouTube or a podcast or something that you would recommend for cleaning company owners?
Let me think. So I mentioned Profit First earlier, game changer, right? Literally, I would actually give you two. So Profit First, I'm going to keep hammering down because that really saved my life, and I implement it into every single business moving forward. That's how I start my businesses. Bank accounts, the way it's set up on there, you don't understand that you can have a low revenue even in the beginning, and you can still have a salary. Like there's something about that, knowing that you're getting paid, right? Do not do this thing where you invest everything. Okay, businesses will eventually one day maybe fail. Maybe yours won't, or you might have to sell or something. But this idea of I'm reinvesting everything into it, I don't buy into that unless you're doing something like Amazon or that's what you own, right? Something huge like that. I would not do that. I would get as rich as possible, milk the money out of there. Right? You have to be smart, but enough money for the business to grow, but definitely get paid, right? And the whole process will actually feel much better. So profit first, no matter what revenue you're at, it's the principle that you can still get paid during. The second one, the one that made the biggest difference to me, a book would be The One Thing. Most amazing book that I implement to this day is called The One Thing. And that the idea is there is one main thing if you can focus on, it's the one leverage that would make everything else easier. So in your business, there's one thing if you focused 80% of your attention on and make everything great. So that book is what I implement to this day. My morning is my one thing, then the rest of the day. So that one thing depends what the problem is. If it's getting customers, it's all those hours is marketing, right? If you're past that stage, marketing should go on maintenance. You don't drop it. Marketing goes on maintenance. And then you're focusing on the problem. So if it's systemizing, you need to get the hell out of your business, right? You might do a quarter. That's how I did my SOPs. I did a quarter every morning. I would wake up and create SOPs, right?
Yeah.
My marketing is automated. Boom, 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 SOPs. And then, SOPs that are just good enough for the next 6 months. It's not like forever. Trying to create SOPs for 10 years down the line doesn't work. You're just at that point, you're not even getting anything done. So just something good enough. And then after that, you might go back to the next problem might be, again, more marketing. So you might be alternating, but that's at least the two things I would definitely pick up in general, actually, as a business owner.
Dude, those are like the two things that were literally, change anybody's life. And focusing on one thing, I've learned too, like just from what you just said, like for me, like I have struggled in the past with like too many things going on. My tabs are like 1,000 tabs, but what you're saying is like, okay, focus on one thing. If it's clients, do clients. Everything else is after that day. Like do your thing that you need to get done and then focus. It's not just do one thing only all the time. Get that.
No.
Perfect, bro. Yeah. All right, man. Is there something you want to offer anybody, or if somebody wants to check you out, how do they reach you? How do they get in touch with you?
Sure. So our main website is called invisibledomination.com. It is going under as we're currently redesigning that website. It's a little bit outdated, but clients could definitely reach out to us, whether they're clean companies, even just any local service company, etc. They can reach out to us through that website, and we can work with them one-on-one. And the way we work with them is, even though we're a marketing agency, we don't do the traditional agency route. We try to partner with a business like a growth agency. We're really dedicated to making them grow. I don't like this idea of, oh yeah, we just do SEO. Look, we got you guys ranking. Great. No. I don't care about that. I care more about did we scale your revenue? So I can name a couple of clients that we work with that are probably big in the industry that we've taken them from 6 to 7. Like I'm talking numbers, right? Revenue. So that's the thing that we're focused on. So when a company comes to us, we do a road mapping session, right? This usually takes about a month. This is not your average roadmap. We do so many things. We create all the answers. Here's what you need to do for your website, a mock-up. Here's how your SEO looks like. These are the pages you need to make. These are like everything. This is for your ads, your offer. We go into everything and we go, here's the answer, right? You can do this yourself. Like, but this is like going to the doctor and you got the x-ray and the blood work. Because what really matters is that, the diagnosis. The labor after that, anybody could do. You just go to any pharmacy and pick up the medicine. That's not the hard part. Is did you find the right doctor that gave you the right treatment, right? If I just gave you a cookie cutter approach, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
So that's our biggest, in my opinion, that's the thing that solves everything for clients. And then it's up to them if they want to do it themselves or they want to work with us on ongoing to fulfill that, whether it's the website that needs to be designed, whether we need to give them an SOP, we need to get on a consultation call with them and teach them how to do certain things, or give them the scripts or do their SEO. But our agency mainly does website and SEO, but we don't just do that. We do a lot around that where we help clients and supplement it with consulting calls, SOPs, and so on.
Love it, man. So you give them the full foundation of like, this is the exact solution you need. And if you follow this, you will scale. I love it, man. Yeah. Can you say the website one more time? I think you went a little fast.
Yeah, the website is Invisible Domination, right? Like you're invisible or you're dominating, invisibledomination.com. And there's also a YouTube channel that I just started. It's called Growth Hub Academy. So the name might change, we'll see. But for now, it's Growth Hub Academy. So those are the two best places. And on Growth Hub Academy, I'm putting everything I know about growing service business because we've grown a lot, not just my own, but so many. We work so much with those businesses. Everything from the digital marketing aspect to the inner workings. I'll go ahead and post some there.
All right, brother. Well, hey, thanks for being on the show. Can't wait to share this. And if anybody is watching this and if you really need help, the answers are there. Keep going. Don't give up. If you're struggling, reach out to Abel, me, this channel, follow the groups, sign up for stuff, and just don't quit. You can be profitable. You can be rich. You can travel the world. And Abel, thanks again, brother. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man. See you guys.